Good morning, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and today is actually one of our really cool days that I am partnering with Chronic Illness Solution again for a show. And Michal is not going to be here today. Bryce Briggs is going to be here today, and I can't wait for you to see him again. He was on we were on the show a couple of weeks ago together, and I hope you enjoyed it. It was a great topic, and we're going to dive into something else today with Bryce. And so we'll bring on Bryce here in just a minute. I want to talk to you about a couple things first, but before we even talk about those, we want everybody that's watching that may have an invisible condition. We want you to know that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never, ever, ever alone. And, here on Invisible Condition, we get it. We know that times can be tough. Things can be tough with an invisible condition, but we also know that there is always hope. 100%, always, there is hope, always, all the time. And we operate in that. We live in a world of hope here at Invisible Condition. And speaking of hope, our nonprofit is called Hydro with Hope, the nonprofit arm of Invisible Condition. It's called Hydro with Hope. And while we talk about all kinds of invisible conditions on this show, Hydro with Hope, our nonprofit partner, focuses on hydrocephalus, which is the condition that I was born with in 1977 and has resulted in seven brain surgeries. I almost said seven. That's what I meant to say. And so it can be tricky. It can be a really crazy condition to live with. And so we created this nonprofit to help people, help families navigate that. One of the tools we have is a fill-in-the-blank journal that we want to get into your hands. If you or somebody you know, somebody you love is living with hydrocephalus, we want to get that journal into your hands. We want to get it into hospitals where patients that are undergoing brain surgery to treat this crazy condition can use this journal and make their stay a little easier. All of that takes cash. In case you didn't know, nonprofit doesn't mean no profit, okay? We have expanded our board, and I'm so excited that we're having our first board meeting soon with our brand new board that we have expanded to expand our reach too, honestly. And so if you know of anybody that could help or that wants to donate to the nonprofit, I would love to hear from you. You can go to hydrowithhope.com if you'd like to donate, or if you want to email me and let me know that you want to help, or you have somebody that would be a great board member to help us grow. Drop me a line in an email and let me know, and I'll get in touch with you, send you my scheduling link, and we can talk. Along the same lines, if you want to advertise, if you want to sponsor the show, if you want to advertise the show, get the word out about something you're doing, your company is doing that you think would benefit our, growing, amazing audience. Same thing. Drop me an email. Let's talk. I'd love to have a conversation with you about that and tell you more and learn more about what you do and how we could partner together. So, all right, here we go. Let's bring Bryce on here, and he can tell us what the heck we're going to talk about today, because I already forgot. So we're gonna Bryce, thanks for being here again, man. This is going to be cool.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yep. So tell us a little bit about you, because you are not, Michal has been, in front of this audience for so long, and they're like, oh, yay, Michal. And they just don't know you yet because you've only been here a couple of times. So tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing and why you're here, and then maybe what we're going to talk about today.
Sounds great. So, my name is Bryce Briggs. I've been a practitioner, health coach with Chronic Illness Solution for 5 years now. I've taught their complete health program. Currently moving into some other areas such as relationship coaching and just what I call alignment coaching. Nice. So consciousness alignment coaching. And so for the last 5 years, I've been teaching people how to regulate their nervous system, how to overcome their chronic illness. I've had a chronic illness myself, and I went through a program with chronic illness solution and had such great success. That's where I decided to become a practitioner, and I love what I do. I love the work that it is and the people that it helps and impacts, and
Nice.
it's been an awesome journey. So what I'm going to talk about today, last time we talked about pain and my journey with it, and I'm going to kind of go on the heels of that into relationship and also spirituality, because I mentioned last time that I took this program, I was in a low point. And actually having that connection, finding connection to God inside my healing journey was an amazing thing, seeing at the work I was doing and how I was actually really connecting not only to myself but also to God in that, and seeing how pain is a messenger, and we can take it different ways, like we were talking before me coming on here. You can either, like pain, has you reaching out to God for help, or has you cursing him, one of the two, depending on the person. But definitely, I look at pain very differently now, in a very healthy way, as a healthy human being. And so we're going to talk about that today.
I love it. And I can agree with that 100%. I look at it different now too. I wouldn't be doing this, everybody, by the way. I wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't been through their program and become fully healthy myself. And so it was a journey, man. In fact, when I first started talking to Michal and we started kind of going down the road of the complete health program, she literally stopped me in my tracks and said, "Whoa, nope, you're not ready yet, buddy. You're not ready yet. You need to go see, this person." And it was an associate of hers that helps people kind of crack that nut. I was a tough nut to crack, and you got to do it a little deeper. And then, once you're tenderized a little bit, so to speak, then you're ready, and so I went back after I worked with Alicia was her name, for a few months, and worked with her. And then I went back to Michal and she said, now you're ready. So not everybody's ready all the time, at the first crack at this, but man, when you go through it, and once you get to the other side, and once you are that fully healthy version of yourself and know how to maintain that, it's a beautiful thing. So I can't wait to dive in here. And so we're talking about, I think you mentioned at the beginning when we were talking before we went on the air, alignment. Kind of alignment is what you're focusing on today. So let's dive in. All right.
Yep. So my relationship to pain, very different now. I look at it as communication. Even back, when I was going through my chronic condition, I had, like the migraines all the time, I had anxiety, I had digestion issues. And I look at, like I tell people, like I could look back at going through that and have resentment for all that I went through. And I can look back and I'm grateful for that journey, because it actually helped me connect more to myself, and also to God, to align myself. And that's really what we discovered in the work that we do is, why we suffer is because we're going against the congruency of who we are. We're not in alignment with ourselves. And so when we come into alignment with ourselves, then that pain, that messenger, a lot of times it stops relaying that message because we've learned the lesson. And so I look at pain as communication, and but I look at it as is, which a lot of people, it may take a bit for them to actually get to this point. But pain is a form of love. It can be, if you actually look at it. And so you look at what's real. And I've actually heard, it's a quote by Jordan Peterson, actually. There's two things in life that are real. One is pain, and the other is love. And they actually go together.
They do. Yeah.
Yep.
It's true. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's a good quote. That's a good quote. I've never
Yep.
heard that before. That's
So,
cool.
yep.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I look at my journey as it's all been an act of love, from God. Even though there's moments I didn't feel like it, I felt like, why in the heck am I being, punished with this pain?
Right.
But it was, on a deep level to call me to connect with myself and also to Him, and live in alignment with when I'm take my power back and become a healthy human being, and so I can actually share that with other people. And that was, that calling is to go through that experience so I can also share it with, others. That's the reason I became a practitioner and a coach, is because of that. And
Yeah.
coming off the heels of that, like I'm moving into, working with people on relationships and actually coming to alignment within all areas of their life, because we deal with stress every day, and a lot of times we don't we're on autopilot. And
Yeah.
my job is to teach people to notice where we're on autopilot,
Hmm.
and see where we're going against ourselves in the everyday life, and also, normalize a little bit, of the humanness that we experience, the stresses, the anxieties, and it's all there for a reason. The judgments we have,
Yeah.
for everyday life. And
Okay.
so what I'm looking into is, it's especially guiding people through the complete health program. What I have seen is, a lot of people struggle in relationships, and they always use that as like an excuse or a distraction. It's like it's always become those things like, I'm struggling in my relationship. My partner doesn't hear me, doesn't feel me, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, well, let's focus on your relationship with you, and then we can then focus on the other relationships. And so that's the beauty of this work. A lot of times that I've seen when it comes to illness is when you
Hmm.
change that relationship with yourself, a lot of times your external relationships shift as well. And that's a beautiful thing. But a lot of times there is, some other work to do. And so what I'm being called to do is actually open that up to actually couples coming on
Mm.
and doing
Nice.
kind of like the complete health program, but in a couple setting, to become one in their relationship. Like, I looked at my journey in complete health program as a journey in becoming one with myself, becoming aligned with myself. And when you're in alignment, life is so much more peaceful,
It's
calm.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. But I just want to, you've said this term a couple times, and I know there's a lot of people that interpret it differently. Everybody's got a different interpretation of it.
Hmm.
What the heck do you mean by getting to know yourself, aligning with yourself? Like what it like
Hmm.
you live in your body, you spend a lot of time with yourself. You're like your brain is in your own head. So
Yes.
what is that what does that accomplishment look like? Like what are you going for? What's the end goal?
Yep. So, a lot of people think they know themselves, but a lot of times we're operating off of the beliefs and the perceptions, worldviews that, we've been taught since we were, children. And it's recognizing
Okay.
there's conscious things that we're conscious of,
Mhm.
and a lot of times we're focused on that because that's what we're aware of, is the conscious stuff that we do, which is about 10%, maybe 10% of our brain activity,
Okay.
and the rest is, subconscious or unconscious. And so it's bringing awareness to the subconscious or unconscious habits and patterns, and connecting to where we're, making choices off of, say, our limited beliefs, or, the beliefs that are keeping us in the kind of life we don't like, and the
Okay.
pain, and the triggers and the traumas, and how we're storing that in our body. Like, a lot of times I see, again, relationship, uh, there's a lot of trauma from relationships, and we store
Yeah.
that in our body, and it shows up in different forms. And
Yeah.
I see that, where I can look at a person, and whatever condition they're going through, I can see what's behind it, or what the pattern is behind it, and
Hmm.
again connect and actually release and let that go. And so getting to know yourself, because it's like, well, yes, you already know yourself, but very seldom do we actually connect. I'll put the word connect to actually who we are. It's like, yeah, we know ourselves. We have intuition. We have an inner knowing of things. Most time we're ignoring it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's where this comes in. Is like, for most time we're ignoring the inner knowing of ourselves, and what we need to do. We want to look good for people. A lot of times there's people pleasing patterns that come out, and in
Mm-hmm.
the work that I do. I know I've had that myself, trying to make other people comfortable while I'm uncomfortable.
Sure.
And it's recognizing, like, well, it's always going to feel uncomfortable no matter what you do. And it's like, well, I could, feel uncomfortable with what's going on outside of me, or I can feel uncomfortable with going on inside of me. And which would I rather have? That uncomfortable inside or outside? And so that's where this work has really come in. Is like, you know what? I'm getting tired of the conflict within me. I'd rather deal with it outside of me. That's
Yeah.
where it's choosing to resolve that inner conflict we have with the choices, the everyday stuff that we're doing, and what I call our wrestle with life and the choices we have to make.
Yeah.
And 'cause the wrestle is necessary,
Right.
and that what people need to understand is that wrestle we have with life and struggle is necessary. Without that wrestle, without the struggle or the challenge, we're not going to grow. We're just in our comfort zone, and it's the thing to notice is like sometimes hell becomes our comfort zone. That's why a lot of people are not ready for this, is because they're subconsciously comfortable in the hell that they're living in.
Yeah.
That's what they're used to. They're used to
Right.
life the way it is, and they don't know there's life beyond that.
Right. So it's more of it's most of I'm guessing since I don't do what you do full time, I'm guessing from my limited experience with this is that people just don't know what they don't know, and if they don't know what it's supposed to be like, or what's possible, right? Then
Hmm.
they don't know any different, and they can't possibly see the option because they don't know it exists. So yeah, that's I think that's where I was. That was I mean, with a lot of stuff that in life, looking back, I mean, that's usually what it is. You just don't know it is available until somebody tells you. So yeah,
Correct.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I'm very excited that somehow, by the grace of God, I ran across I ran across McCall, and here we are, almost 2 years later. Here we are talking about this stuff on such a cool platform to tell so many people. So it's I love it, but I never would have guessed, because I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
So but yeah, man. Well, hey, I tell you what, let's do this. Let's go to a break, and then I think in the second segment here, um, I know. I mean, you tell me where we're going to go, I think, but I have a feeling, we were talking about alignment with yourself, and then to be able to better connect with God, which is really the ultimate goal, is to
Hmm.
better connect with God, because honestly, he is the ultimate architect, and he's the one that knows he understands you better than you know yourself. So I don't know, maybe we want to go there, or talk about the different approaches and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, it's going to be good. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to take this off the screen. It'll be back for the next episode, or for the next segment here. And then maybe we'll talk about what's on the other side of that QR code. I forgot to do that this segment. So we'll talk about that on the other side too. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We got more to come.
Hey there. You know, every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Morrison, host of the Health Revolution TV show. Join us Tuesdays and Thursdays live, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where our mission is simple: engaging conversations, elevating health and wellness, empowering transformation. Right here on the Achieve TV channel on E360 TV.
Hey, everybody. I wanted to touch base with you about this real quick before we bring Bryce back. Speaking of you don't know what you don't know, this is the ultimate example of that. I have been, so Dunamis marriages is what I'm talking about. And I'm trying to find the better, I guess I have that. I guess that's it. Hopefully it's readable down there, dunamismarriages.com. Honestly, this is something that everybody who's married should check out. Okay. Struggling marriages can be tough, man. And it's even if you feel like your marriage is doing pretty well, it can always be better. And, I didn't know what I didn't know before we, talked to Dr. Pauline Dillard, who is the counselor that has been running Dunamis marriages for good 15, 20 years. She's got 42 years of marriage under her belt that she has experienced and been able to draw wisdom from. And I'm telling you, it is the greatest thing you could possibly do for your marriage or somebody's marriage that you love. Recommend it to them. It's insane how different our family is now versus before we met Pauline. What she does is so unique. When you think of counseling, be honest with me. When you think of counseling, you think of once a week, right? Thank you. Our 50 minutes is up or whatever. And you go home and you've rehashed all this stuff. And now you go home and you gotta wait another week before you go get to rehash it again. Right. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily never effective, but this version of counseling that Pauline does is an intensive model. And they meet for about 2 to 3. You meet for about 2 to 3 hours per session, and you go for about 5-6 sessions. And over that time, you learn tools that you can take with you beyond that. And that is the valuable thing, because you don't have to keep coming back. You've got the tools and you can use them and you can pass them on. My wife and I, Catherine and I, have been married 26 years. We just celebrated our 26th anniversary, and we've got 3 beautiful children, and we're passing this stuff on to them. They don't even know it. Shh. Don't tell them. It's going to help them. And it's so cool because you don't even have to, it's nothing you have to even mention. You just talk to them, and it's so cool. Anyway, I highly recommend you get in touch with Pauline. Scan this QR code here and go to the website, dunamismarriages.com, DUNAMAS marriages.com. I can't recommend it highly enough. Looking forward to hearing how the outcome goes. I want to hear how it goes if you go and experience that change. I want to hear about it. But let's bring Bryce back on here and see what we're talking about next, because I'm sure there's more to the story here. All right. Hey, Bryce. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. And by the way, if you're watching at any of these platforms, there's all kinds of other places you can be watching. All of these places you can be watching. If you're watching at one of these two, you can comment. So if Bryce says something, or if I say something, or probably Bryce, honestly, probably it's going to be Bryce. If Bryce says something that rings a bell, just throw a comment in there, and we can get back with you. Or if you go to this QR code and go to their website, what are they going to find there, Bryce? If they go to that QR code?
All right, go to QR code, take you to our website. You'll be able to sign up for our free consultation there. Give us some background of each of the practitioners that work with us, our journeys, and hey, you got a chronic illness and you're at that point where you're ready to do something about it, click that QR code.
Beautiful. When you're ready to do something about it.
Yes, when you're ready to do something about it. If you're, again, you got to, like for me, I had to be at that rock bottom where I had no other options. Doctors didn't have any answers for me. I tried nutrition plans, which it did manage a lot of my symptoms, but it wasn't confident to take care of the issue. I still had the stress that I wasn't dealing with. So,
well, because it's not about symptom management. If you go to I keep saying that word. It's not traditional Western medicine. Somebody corrected me on that the other day. They said it's not traditional. It's only been around for like 100 years. It's conventional Western medicine. If you go that route, they treat you as a part. Like your arm, you go to the arm doctor. Your ear bothers you, you go to somebody to look at your ear. And this is overall. This is whole body, whole mind work that they're doing. It's really cool. So, all right, let's get back into it here. Where are we going here? What were we talking about when we went to the break?
All right. So where I want to go with like being in alignment with yourself, connecting to yourself, and also bringing in, the God aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something, that I bring up. People that I coach, I know who are believers. A lot of times, people struggle with the going inward part of it, or connecting or putting themselves first, as we call it. What I bring up is the two greatest commandments: love your God with all your heart, mind, might, and strength. The second is like unto it: love your neighbor as yourself, which implies you must love yourself first.
Yep.
And we've gotten it backwards because we're so focused on external life and living life externally. We're focused on everyone else that we don't take the moment to, am I at capacity? Am I doing what I need to do for me so I can show up for XYZ over here?
Yeah.
And that was, a big part of my realization, is because or with anyone really, is how much we live life very externally. And another thing that I made connection on is when Jesus says, "Don't you know the kingdom of heaven is within you?" Meaning that we need to find heaven within us, find God within us. And that was something that in that connecting to myself is like, I'm so focused on external, even trying to find God externally, whether it's going to church or whatever. I'm not looking inward for those answers. I'm always trying to find them outside me, whether it's with the doctors, whether it's in church, whether it's, someone, giving me information, stuff like that. And it's really teaching people that the answers are within.
Yeah.
And God is within. And I know Michal, she has done consciousness growth chart with you. And that's something that I'll put into a biblical sense. You look at people in the Bible, and we look at the Bible as a whole. It itself is a map of consciousness.
Okay.
And so
just for those that are watching that maybe didn't see that episode, I'm just going to throw this on the screen here this is what he's talking about, everybody. This is, if you've watched any episode recently with Michal and I, this is what we've talked about. And this is the map of consciousness he's talking about. So you're saying this is kind of how did you say it? Say it again.
So the Bible itself is a map of consciousness.
Nice.
And you look at name changes. Say, Abram was changed to Abraham, Sarai to Sarah, Jacob to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And actually use Jacob as an example because he got put into kind of a very humiliating spot when he went to meet his brother Esau after leaving Laban and going back to the land. But that's when he got his name changed. He had that wrestling with God.
Yep.
And I guess the way I see, we all go through that again. Using that word wrestle, we all need to go through our wrestling with God.
Yeah.
And Jacob get his hip dislocated, which makes him very vulnerable in the situation because here he's expecting a battle with his brother because he figures his brother probably still hates him. But going into it, God humbles him by dislocating his hip. Like he's no longer able to go into battle. He has to hang back. But that name change is very interesting, and you see how God refers to people. Sometimes he calls them Jacob, and sometimes he calls them Israel. Jacob, which is kind of interesting. It means like heel or heel grabber. It refers to the heel, which you can look at that as lower consciousness.
Okay.
Israel is actually a reference to higher consciousness, connected to being in alignment with God.
And the lower consciousness is like you're talking about, like below this line here, below this bottom red line here. That's kind of is that what you're kind of likening to the lower consciousness here, the red and orange and and then above and then kind of between the two lines, and then the highest consciousness is up here above the red line. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And so you see, I'm referring to the people that way, and it's really seeing how their journey has progressed, consciously, becoming more aware or in alignment in their journey with God and their purpose, their calling. And another thing is I've talked about oneness or becoming one with yourself. Like God says, "Hear is the Lord our God, the Lord is one," and it's referring to a unified, a unity. One doesn't mean just one; it means there's unity.
Right.
And what I likened, when we're in our chronic conditions, when we're dealing with pain, it feels like we're at war with ourselves. We're at war with our body. Our body's at war with us.
Right. Yes.
And
totally.
When you can become one, have that unity of soul, mind, and body, it's amazing the harmony gets there, and it's actually a picture of the oneness of God, and we're to be part of that oneness. And what I've been seeing is even how people make that connection on their own. There's really no doubt about it when it comes to healing. When you are healed, like you're going through your journey, but what's at the root of that healing?
Yeah.
And so that's where, I went from being in a low spot, like where's God in this, to seeing him everywhere in the work that I do, as it's going inward. You're connecting to yourself, and it's recognizing, I'm not my symptoms. I have a body, I have a mind, and the mind's going to do what the mind does. It thinks all kinds of things, and sometimes silliness, but I'm still not that. And there's a deeper part to who I am as a being, and it's learning to operate for, like, allow that part of me to actually take control or take the power in my being, and still just be like the observer of the mind, and and what it does. And that's where you come into that unity. It's like, doesn't mean that you don't struggle. It doesn't mean you don't have
Right.
the thoughts we have, or the questioning that comes up a lot of times. It's like I question myself all the time, but it's like just recognizing that, it's part of that journey, that wrestle we have. Yeah, it's actually part of our expansion and learning and growing, is to actually question and seek. So even if you're one of those people, that are on the opposite end of, reaching out for God, that you're cursing him. It's like, he wants you to take he wants you to complain to him.
Right.
Like, yeah, go ahead and complain to him. He's because that's still communicating,
Yep.
and it's still going to lead you to the same place ultimately, if you allow it to, if you're actually ready for that to take place. Because even when you're complaining, he's still communicating, and it's just a matter of recognizing that there's communication going on.
It's true. And you probably, if the person that's yelling at God or complaining about it, or telling all the terrible things going on, they don't think about it that way. I mean, I don't think about it when I just think I'm mad at God, or I'm expressing, emotion or whatever, but it's you're communicating with the creator of the universe. You're actually, you don't know that because you're caught up in your own emotions, but it's true. It's pretty cool. Once you realize that, it's like, whoa, oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. So yeah. Very cool, man.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, so that's running. So would you call that more running to God, or yelling at God? We're talking about those two.
Yeah.
Like which one is better,
Yeah. I've seen connections happen both ways. Like I tell people, when it
True.
comes to, like regulating nervous system, it's kind of like a Chinese finger trap. And I heard it lands that way. Like, the more you try to pull away,
Yeah.
you're going to be stuck. And so the more you press into it is how you let go. And that's the same thing with pains, with emotions, anything that you're struggling with. It's like you can't pull away, you can't run away, you can't hide from it. It's still going to come back and get you. You can, mask it from time to time. Yeah, that's something you can do. You can put a Band-Aid on it, cover it up, put the snooze button on it. But ultimately, it's still going to come back and say, "Oh, I'm still here."
Right.
And so, really, it's recognizing we need to press into that. When it comes to pain, emotions, the struggles we have, it's not about running away or pulling away or being avoidant, escaping. It's connecting, because connecting, and even what we call connection in what we teach, it's not always going to feel good.
No.
It's not going to be roses and sunshine and all that all the time. There's going to be some rough things to process, and it's still part of that connection, and recognizing the whole of it. It's all there for a reason. That communication is there for a reason, even though it doesn't feel good or it's uncomfortable to feel it. There's a reality and reason for it being there, and that's what I love about what I do, is like really pointing into all those areas where they're not wanting to look, or not wanting to see it, or not normalizing the human experience we go through, the thought processes, and how we feel in certain situations. And
exactly.
Just for a simple example, like just the simple getting up in the morning. Like, sometimes you feel tired, you don't want to do it. And what I've learned when it comes to that, like, the more I fight being tired, the more I feel tired. So
it's true.
It's like allowing that feeling to just take place. It's like, it's just how I feel in the moment, and doesn't mean I'm stuck here. But it's recognizing that our mind always goes to judgment, and that's really what I want to people that look at is like you're always one-sided or the other. You're very judgmental and critical of ourselves, or there's also a point of being too kind and gracious on one side. There's a balance there, and I want people to see it. There's a balance there. Like, you need to be able to have kindness and grace for yourself, and there's a place for the discipline and the boundaries.
Yes,
that
100%.
come into that. So
it's true. It's true. Yeah, you gotta give yourself some of both. It's true. Well, there's something that we're gonna go to a commercial again just for a minute, but after we get back to close out the show for a few minutes, I wanted to, for some reason it popped into my head that we've talked about this on the other show, and Michal and I have talked about it many times, is the counterintuitiveness of this whole thing, this whole program is that when you experience the symptom, it's because you're healing. When you're like, that's the healing phase. So don't interrupt it, right? Don't rush to the doctor. Don't take the pill. Don't take the remedy or whatever, because that's going to interrupt it, and that's going to keep re-injuring yourself, and it's going to keep coming up until you let it just go, And so I don't know. For some reason that just popped into my head. So if we want to, we can talk about that on the other side of the break. But but let's do that. Let's go one more break, and then come on. Why is it not? I don't know what's happening. I pushed a button. It didn't work. We'll figure it out. Welcome to live TV, everybody. We'll see you on the other side of the break, and stick with us.
Hey everybody, Craig Tomanini here, founder and CEO of Ask Craig T, and I wanted to do a quick reminder about our podcast every Friday, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and on all of our social media platforms, so be sure you tune in. Don't miss all the valuable information we're going to give you about how to scale your business using technology.
Hi, I'm Jake, co-founder and CEO of One Hope. My friends and I started this company in 2007 out of the back of this truck, on a mission to enrich people's lives through wine. Today, we've grown into a state-of-the-art Napa Valley winery that proudly houses a portfolio of award-winning wines which have touched lives through over 40,000 nonprofits at home and around the globe. And it's happening every day. Being rooted in local communities and contributing to initiatives that uplift neighborhoods, celebrate cultures, and promote community. It's what got us here. You see, through every bottle sold, your purchase can make a direct impact on the causes you care about. One Hope's cause of choice has given back over $10 million and counting.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And before we left for that short break, I started kind of going down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but if we want to go down there, we can. If you had something else that you wanted to talk about, we can do that too. But I feel like it's important for people, especially if they're learning about this stuff, they're hearing what you're saying about all this with Chronic Illness Solution and how you guys operate there. Mm-hmm. And they're like, this is so counterintuitive. It's crazy. And I feel like this other point that I was talking about before the break was just kind of drives that home. And so this is, most people, correct me if I'm wrong, this will sound familiar, everybody. When you start, you have a fever, you have an infection, you have a virus, you have something hits you, and you're like, you're down for a day or whatever. And you think, okay, what's the normal? It's the normal response. Go take a medication, go take an antibiotic, go take an Advil, go take a Tylenol, get rid of that fever, get rid of that infection. But what you really should be doing, what you should know is that is, correct me if I'm wrong here, that is actually the healing going on. And that's what people are kind of blows their mind. So how does that work? Because it blew my mind too. It was so counter everything I've ever learned in my life.
Yep, that's where you definitely change your relationship to how you see what we call sickness.
Right.
You know, I mean, I think I mentioned last time, like when I was a kid, you know, my mom would take me to the doctor for every little sniffle or whatever, have antibiotics, and which, yeah, you're right, it interrupts your body's natural healing response. And, you know, people worry about fevers, and it's like, well, fever is the healing phase. Your body's at that point, the conflict is actually over in your body, then healing phase. That's why you usually don't experience symptoms or pain when you're in a conflict or stress phase of something. Like usually, if you notice, it's usually when you don't get sick till you like have time off, or you're taking off for a holiday or something like that. And that's because you're actually giving your body permission. Oh, we're slowing down now. I can actually deal with it. You know, I can actually reset. And so we look at saying having a cold, having a flu, even a stomach bug in your body cleaning out. Those are all natural parts of being a healthy human being. And when people hear that, like, what? That's part of being healthy? Like, yes, it's part of being healthy.
Yeah.
When I use my own experience as an example, when I had chronic pain, I hardly ever got a cold. Like I wouldn't get what we call sick. You know, it just wouldn't happen. But when I started regulating my nervous system, I started getting a cold more frequently. Like I get a cold, 2 to 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And that's part of being a healthy human being. There's different, it's definitely controversial, but I don't look at it as contagion. It's like we all experience sometimes as what I call conflict at the same time sometimes on a community level, sometimes on a nation level, sometimes a world level. And we're all going to experience that based off of what's going on. And so it's like one thing that I come into realization, like say with headaches, was powerlessness conflicts. And what happened is that headache is actually the healing phase. That migraine is actually the healing phase. And it's hard to look at that because like that those things hurt.
Yeah,
They're terrible. But what I discovered is fighting the symptom, and that's what you're referring to. Is like when we fight it, we actually are interrupting the healing process. And early in my journey, learning to surrender, to let go, and to actually just feel the pain. What I like to do is like when that's happening, you got the blood vessels that are contracting, and all it's trying to do is reset the brain relay. After powerlessness, and a seizure, it works the same way. It resets. It's like you see animals, for example, they'll sometimes have a seizure after going through a stressful event. And that's the natural biological thing that happens to reset their nervous system. Is all of a sudden they'll have shakes or they'll have a seizure, and all that is doing is resetting their nervous system after the trauma. But we as human beings, we look at anything like that as, there's something wrong with me. I got to do something about it. And it's like, recognizing, no, your body is very intelligent. It's a miraculous machine. If we allow it to do what it needs to do, it's capable of healing itself. And so again, pain goes back to this communication. And it doesn't mean that things are happening then. Things did happen back there. And now the pain's letting you know, like, hey, this thing happened back here, this stressful event or the situation, this stinks, and I'm letting you know that you did some pushing through there. You weren't maybe in alignment there, but I'm giving you an opportunity now. If this thing repeats itself, the same event repeats itself, that we can show up present and make a different choice than we did before.
Right. It's giving you another opportunity, right?
Yes.
Do it different.
Yep. And that's what we look at as like, it's just an opportunity, if you allow it to be, to resolve it, to heal it, going forward to where it's no longer going to be something you're going to experience those particular symptoms after the fact it happens. You don't have to go through that healing phase over and over again.
Right.
Um,
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where, I look at so many situations I was in prior to this that, I'd get a migraine afterwards. And, for example, I took my family to a swimming park in Phoenix area last week, kind of a little family trip. Took my son to a specialist there in Phoenix. And, it's summertime, everyone else is out on vacation, and it's crowded, it's noisy.
Oh yeah.
And in times past, I stressed myself out to the point where I'd actually make myself, sick in those situations where I'd get a migraine afterwards. And so it's changing that relationship, like normalizing the stress, because being in those situations is stressful. But I'm still in power here. I can choose how I experience the situation, and I normalize the stress. Consciously, being aware, it's normal to feel the stress in that situation, and I can parent myself, having that discipline, but also being kind to myself at the same time of the feelings there. And, it was a beautiful experience, and getting used to my kids getting older and doing things on their own. That's another stress.
Yeah.
But say, 6 years ago, I would have had a migraine afterwards, just because I would have made myself feel powerless, and then the brain's got to reset, and here comes a headache. So pain is that healing phase, in most cases, like your body cleaning out. It's got to clean out somehow, whether it's through our digestive system or sinuses, whatever. It's got to come out somewhere.
Exactly.
So
well, there you go, everybody. There's your mind-blowing fact for the day. If you're experiencing that kind of stuff, don't interrupt it. It's a good thing. It's supposed to be there. So awesome. Well, Bryce, we are out of time, man. That was the fastest hour of my day, I think. That felt like it went really quick, but here we are. So but if you guys, seriously, if you want to get in touch with Bryce, this is the place to do it right here. This QR code, you'll get a good chunk of time to talk with him and tell him what's going on. And so please scan the QR code and get in touch with Bryce or Madeline or Michal or somebody, Chris, anybody there that can help you. And thank you so much for being here today, Bryce. I can't wait to dive in again next time. And I appreciate you being here. Stick around. Let's chat afterwards and see what we're going to talk about for the next show.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Oh man. Awesome. I'm telling you, I know we've had this amazing relationship with Chronic Illness Solution for like a year now. And I still learn something new every stinking show. I feel like I still learn something new. It's a beautiful thing. I'm not complaining. I am excited about that because it's so cool. So what I want to tell you now is this. Let's see, the next show, bear with me here. The next show will be on July 18th. Today's the 15th. Yeah. July 18th will be the next show. So tune in then, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, for another amazing story. I can't wait to hear for you to hear from the guest that will be there that day. It's a surprise. I'm not going to tell you. But it's going to be awesome. And I look forward to seeing you then. And definitely jump on here and share your thoughts, man. If this is counterintuitive to you and your mind is blown, let me know. I love hearing that kind of stuff. So looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you soon.